One of the great things about credit cards is that you can do your shopping without any cash ever having to change hands at all. We've got an Avis credit card here, amongst others, with which we've been able to get $7,000 worth of luxury motor car for the day. Of course, it's going to cost us $16 a day, but so far, no cash has changed hands. I've got a variety of other credit cards here. We're now going to try some of the shops at the Paris end of Collins Street and see what we can get just with credit cards. 10 years ago, credit cards were almost exclusively the preserve of the expense account executive and a guarantee to one's financial standing in the community. But today in Australia, the club has opened its doors to more than just a privileged few. 2 million people hold credit cards, and from the middle of next year there'll be a new competitor, backed by 9 national banks, aimed at the low to middle income earner, and as yet, completely unnamed. Credit for the working man has been talked about in Australia for at least 5.5 years. One of the people involved with its planning from the very beginning is Ron Cameron, Director of the Australian Bankers Association. How will the customer benefit?
Having a card by anyone who gets one given to him by a bank after he's applied for it, or the bank officer to him, will pay nothing for that card. There's no joining fee, and there are no fees or service charges attached with the usage of that card if he pays his monthly account within a time period of 25 days after the end of the closing cycle.
But what about those who don't pay up? Hal Lasky is Managing Director of Diners Club, established in Australia in 1956, and with an annual bad debt record of only 0.25%. Under what circumstances would he withdraw a card?
Firstly, if the evidence before us is that the member becomes a slow payer and doesn't respond to requests for payment. Secondly, if there's evidence that the member has gone haywire, and this occasionally happens, sometimes we can detect patterns of spending which reflect that something has gone wrong. At times, of course, cards are lost and stolen and misused. We are generally in a position to apprehend these people or these cards within 48 hours.
But while the Bankcard is new to Australia, it's been firmly entrenched in America for more than 20 years. How does Lasky view the American experience?
In America in '68, an enormous number of unsolicited cards had been issued, and it was not uncommon for cards to have been issued to babies, deceased people, and one could almost find cards floating around in the gutters of New York at that time.
Were there any blatant misuses of cards in the United States?
Yes, it is my understanding that the banks suffered many millions of dollars worth of bad debts through misuse and directly resulting from the issue of unsolicited cards.
How concerned are you by the American experience where a number of American banks have introduced charge cards and then dropped them again when they found that they were getting into the wrong hands?
Well, we hope, and we're planning to do this, that the system that we've evolved, which is centred on an online computer system, which will eventually have the capacity to operate Australia-wide, and the security measures that we've built into the scheme will reduce substantially the bad debt or the fraud incidents in the usage of charge cards, as has happened in some overseas countries. What I'm saying is that we in Australia think that we have profited by the experiences of the banks in the United States and the United Kingdom. We hope that we've built into our system many features which will remove the dangers that were inherent in the systems overseas.
The big 3 existing credit cards, American Express, Diners Club and Carte Blanche, are most widely used in the travel and entertainment area, everything from cordon bleu cooking to the services of an escort agency. The banks too are planning to invade expense account territory, but if the big 3 are worried they're not showing it, it's good for the card business and one step nearer a cashless society. So how did we do? I've just spent $47.50. That's a model aeroplane for my small boy, $7.50. A dress for the wife, $30. And a new pullover for me, that was $10. $47.50 in all, and not a cent of mine has passed over the counter. I paid for it all with a credit card. As from July next year, most of the middle income earners like me will be paying for things in this way. And I wonder if, like me, they'll feel that at the end of it all, they can't really afford it.